Raise your hand if you've ever wanted to teach your child how to read, but did not know where to start, what to do, and what you must avoid. I have an important message for you. You can teach your child how to read easily and faster than you ever imagined. In fact, with the right tools and techniques, it's even possible for your child to read grade 1 books as a 2-year-old. I know this because I taught my son to read grade 1 books before he even turned 2. Hard to believe, isn't it? Watch this video, and please be patient. After all, he was only 2.
It sounded like a quack. George was doing that. What would be quacking underneath his window? It was a duck. Oh, of course, then George heard the quack on his head. Another.
Yes, he was only 2 in this clip. Isn't that incredible? Only a few years ago, when my son was a toddler, I was struggling with the same confusion and worries as you. I wanted to teach my child how to read, but did not know where to begin. I struggled with what techniques to use to deal with my son's short attention span, and what methods to use to ensure reading success. But after lots of trial and error, and tons of research, I was finally able to figure out what worked and what didn't. Using this knowledge, I was able to create a simple yet effective system that had my son reading first-grade books when he was barely 2 years old. Now, I must emphasize that my son is no more special than any other child. He was naughty and playful, like any toddler. He wanted Lego sets and cars, not books. But with the right reading techniques, a consistent daily schedule, corrections of mistakes, and lots of encouragement, he was finally able to start his reading journey in no time. Now I want to share my proven techniques with you so that your child can reap the benefits as well. These are techniques every parent ought to know. I want to share them with you so you can avoid all the challenges and struggles that I faced, and use your time wisely to teach your child how to read the right way. There's no better gift that you can offer your child than the gift of words. A recent study by Heckman and Masterov found that the cognitive skills that children learn through reading books make them far more likely to pursue higher education and professional training, thus earning more at high-quality jobs. You too can achieve these results with your child with just a few simple techniques. A 2012 research study by J. Kolb and J.C. Van Owers found that reading to our children for just 15 to 20 minutes a day improves their literary, cognitive, and numerical skills compared to their peers till they're at least 10 years old. This also supports other studies, like research by Cunha et al., which found that learning to read not only teaches new words, but also gets kids in the habit of learning quickly, which makes them more likely to pick up valuable professional skills much later in life. Taking the time to teach your child how to read will have a bigger impact than years of basic schooling. Imagine that you're just learning to ride a bike, but you keep falling off. Everyone thinks it's your fault that you cannot ride a bike, but no one notices that the bike has a flat tire. Schools make learning difficult by forcing all children to learn using the same techniques. It's no surprise that 66% of all 4th graders score below proficient at reading. It doesn't have to be this way. With a simple shift in techniques, your child can read better than you ever imagined. Watch how with these techniques, my son was able to read when he was just 3 years old, too young for even play school.
The trumpet. As the claw flew toward Billings on his powerful white wing, all sorts of troublesome thoughts whirled on his head. The call had never gone looking for a trumpet player, had no money to pay for a trumpet.
Isn't that something? So what techniques did I use to teach my son how to read with such proficiency? Listen carefully, because I'm about to share the key to unlocking your child's ability. To give your child a head start, you can't rely on a single learning strategy. Instead, you must use tools that spark your child's curiosity, playfulness, and desire to learn. Here's an example. Since my toddler was easily distracted, keeping him engaged was a challenge, so I used a combination of carefully designed flashcards, books, word lists, and media that made reading just another form of play. This helped me create a system that not only engaged him, but had him reading in just a couple of months. You can see the results for yourself. Let's watch another quick clip.
One summer day in Far Creek, Pennsylvania, a mysterious trails appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and his 7-year-old sister Annie climbed into the trails. Their family was filled with books. Jack and discovered that the trails was magic. It could take them to the places in the books. All they had to do was point to a picture, then wish to be there. Dragon was at the time of dinosaur, old England, ancient Egypt, and a pirate ship.
I taught my son to read by focusing on 5 distinct learning techniques. These are phonics, whole language, sight words, vocabulary, text comprehension. Phonemic awareness is all about how distinct sounds make up a word. For instance, the word tree contains 4 alphabets, but it's made up of 3 sounds, t, and e. A child uses a different ability to read new words. It's called phonological awareness, or phonics. Phonics is about knowing the sounds that groups of characters make. For example, a child who knows how to pronounce nation can pronounce station or carnation. Children with strong phonetic skills can easily learn to rhyme and guess the spellings of words. They can imagine words as groups of sounds, not strings of alphabets. Phonics is the most important skill that your child will learn. With it, your child can decipher the pattern of a word and read new words without struggle. There are hundreds of phonetic patterns that your child must understand before mastering this skill, which brings me to my next technique, whole language. Let's try something fun. On the next slide, I'll show you a word for 2 seconds, and you'll have to guess that word. Ready? Okay. Okay, which of these is the word you just saw? A, institution, B, constitution, or C, institute? Did you guess A, institution? If you did, you're wrong. In fact, you just saw a made-up word, institution, not institution. You see, we're good at identifying words as a whole that we hardly ever read the spelling at all. This is how children learn to read fast. They memorize patterns in chunks, instead of sounding out each word. What most schools don't recognize is that the whole language technique should never be taught by itself. Phonics must remain the primary technique that your child learns at school. But the whole language skill will also help your child learn words that do not follow the phonetic patterns and to recall previously learned words. Now let me explain the next powerful technique, sight words. Sight words are the most common words found in text. Words such as the, and, but, is, that make up 70% of all words that children will find in their elementary school books. To teach them, teachers commonly assign word lists to your child, expecting them to be memorized. Memorization of these sight words leads to enhanced reading skills. Now let's look at the importance of the next technique, which is the building up of vocabulary. Multiple studies show that a child's vocabulary, even at the age of 3, not only predicts their language skills till they're at least 10 years old, but also predicts professional success much later in life. A recent study of people 30 and older found that those with excellent vocabularies earned $30,000 more each year than those with average vocabularies. The 5th and final step is text comprehension, or how much your child understands of what they just read. Here's my 3-year-old reading a book that he's too young to read.
You poor child, sighed Mrs. Bedouin, as he took Oliver upstairs, so dirty and ragged. Have a hard bath, and I'll get some clean clothes. Lying in bed that night, Oliver had never slept up in the week's bath. He grew up still. Mrs. Bedouin looked at the and made good breakfast each morning to hung last thing at night. Mr. Brown looked late, games, books, and taught him That music. I feel as if I'm living in a dream. Thought Oliver, a few weeks later, Mr. Oliver summoned him to his study. Here's £5 and some books. Oliver take them to the bookshop where I met. Of course, replied Oliver. I'll do anything for you and come straight home, Mr. Brown added. I'll run there and back again, Oliver promised. He ran down the front steps and waved good night to Miss Bedouin, who was watching him from.
As I've said before, your child too can do this. My system combines these 5 techniques to teach your child how to read. It makes reading as easy and enjoyable as playing with toys or watching cartoons. An international study covering 14 countries found that children who had a head start in reading scored 14 points higher on their tests, even at the age of 15. Sadly, you could not trust your child's school to teach these techniques correctly. Schools focus on 1 or 2 of these techniques. They rely on memorization and tests. Is it any surprise that so many children lose their curiosity and playfulness at school? As a parent, this angers me to no end. Why should a child be denied the opportunity to be his or her best, just because the educational system has trouble keeping up? I want my son to love learning and never lose his enthusiasm for life. And I want the same for your child as well. I created my system after months of trial and error. I read countless research papers and journals. I learned many powerful techniques such as alphabet phonics, basic and advanced phonics, sight word memorization, whole language vocabulary, and above all, one-on-one reading practice. Every day I was creating something new, testing how my son responded to it. I created PowerPoint files, made flashcards, I showed him instructional videos, I read him actual books instead of picture books. By combining these techniques, I taught him to read before he turned 2. My friend saw these results and was amazed. She encouraged me to create a program to help parents just like you. And now I'd like you to use it to introduce your child to the joy of reading. It's called Little Champion Reader. Little Champion Reader comes with tons of material that makes reading fun again. With it, you'll get over 970 digital printable flashcards, over 150 printable worksheets, over 40 sheets of lesson word lists. It also comes with a whopping 35 video lessons, 10 bonus lessons on advanced phonics, and much, much more. Wow, that's a lot of fun stuff. And there's something for you as well. When you order the Little Champion Reader, you will receive a reading progress checklist so that you can monitor your child's progress, an instructional manual to help you get the most out of this material, a nursery rhyme book, 15 printable books teaching phonics, and over 350 silly phonic pattern sentences. One of the many great things about Little Champion Reader is its flexibility. There's an order to the lessons, but each medium is independent of others. For instance, if you wanted to keep your child away from TVs and skip the video lessons, you can still use media like flashcards, books, worksheets, and word lists, and offer your child a complete learning experience, even without a TV. The Little Champion Reader is also designed to integrate seamlessly with what your child will learn from pre-K to grade 3. Your child will be learning everything taught at school, but in a far more enjoyable way and years in advance. At school, your child will be far ahead of peers and grow up confident, happy, and calm. With the Little Champion Reader, you won't simply be giving your child the gift of reading. Your child will develop a quiet confidence, a can-do attitude, self-belief, and enthusiasm for solving life's many challenges. Teaching your child how to read will be one of the most exciting milestones of your life, one that I hope to be a part of. And so, thank you for listening. You've watched this far because you want the best for your child. And even though I do not know your name yet, it's what I want for you too. Words are the foundation of ideas. Ideas build character, and character is the root of greatness. I wish you and your child much greatness, great happiness, great success, and a great life lived to the fullest. To learn more about the Little Champion Reader, click the link below and gain instant access.